Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Championship. It's the Dover 160 here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. I'm Mark Murphy, joined by Justin Petchauer, iRacing IndyCar Series competitor, Xfinity racing car driver extraordinaire. We are set 10 minutes for qualifying, about 9 minutes left now, waiting on cars to take to the track here at the Monster Mile. Justin, welcome aboard. It's our inaugural race together, our first one together. It's my first broadcast, so a night of firsts here. Tell us a little bit about Dover.
Well, Dover, what more can be said about it? It's a mile. It's a roller coaster, or as they would call it, the Bristol on steroids. It's a self-cleaning track whenever a wreck happens. Doesn't matter if it's the front stretch or even the back stretch. If a wreck starts down low, that wreck will shoot back up, and it's a course blocker. Other than that, it can provide some pretty good racing in the past, even in the NASCAR iRacing series. When I competed in it here from 2013 to 2018, there actually were stretches of long green flag runs. And with guys that have awareness of their surroundings and know how each other race, you can get some pretty good racing and green flag pit stops thrown in the mix.
Yes, you can. And this, from my experience, is a very tricky pit road. That's going to be a story to follow. That's going to be a story to follow for us tonight, is these cars getting on and off pit road. We watched Benjamin McKinnon take his time there. 24.780 is his best lap of the session.
Yeah, and what you were saying about pit road, this is one of, in my opinion, this is one of my all-time favorite tracks here. I just don't like how they did pit road here. It's the trickiest one of them all, like you said. Almost right smack dab in the middle of turn 4. You have to get down to 35 miles an hour. And in my opinion, the only safe bet to even try and make it down to 35 miles an hour, slow down coming up, make your move to go down to the apron towards turn 3, begin that slow down process, and ride that apron until you get right to about where pit entry is, and then you're good to go with 35 miles an hour. One of the slowest pit lane speeds around here.
And if memory serves, Justin, that pit road, and we're kind of looking at it now down toward it, but if memory serves, you do kind of drop into pit road here. It's not level with the racing surface, and that apron is not only narrow, but it's very slick. Not only is it narrow and slick on entry, it's narrow and slick on exit too. And we're going to see some guys get into some trouble getting on and off pit road here. That's going to be a story to watch. I do anticipate green flag pit stops, and I'm sure that you do as well. Always adds a little bit to the action. We've got Andy Charon Jr., 23.803 to the top of the board. He knocks Pasako off. We've got Nick Biddy in third, and round out your top 4, Chris Gones, with about 6 minutes left in qualifying. Now, these are just, regular oval qualifications, 2 laps, best of 2, and so be interesting to see. That's a pretty stout time from Charon there. 153.916.
Indeed it is, and dare I say, like I said, another pot shot at the next gen Cup car, a little bit faster than the next gen Cup car.
They are, and they're a lot.
It's a tad bit.
They are, and they're much more difficult to drive, even in a different way. The next gen Cup cars, for those of you who don't know, right? They're horsepower restricted. They have a lot more downforce. They are basically GT3 cars that are. They're basically GT3 cars that are retrofitted with NASCAR Cup bodies. These Xfinity cars are the old-fashioned tube-frame stock cars, and they are not horsepower restricted, and so you can spin up the rear wheels and get yourself into trouble pretty doggone quick if you're not careful.
Yeah, and with the next-gen Cup car, I'm just going to say it right now. It may be a stock car version of a GT3 Cup car, or a GT3 car. They literally got the sound to where it was I don't know how to say it. To where it was like the 1997 through 1999 Indy Racing League cars, where they were, in the words of John Oriovics, the ones that literally made you go deaf for the rest of your life in terms of how they sounded.
The old flat plane crank V8 4 liter.
Whew.
I have seen many races from those cars in person. Do not wish to repeat. Beautiful cars. I actually rather liked the way they looked, but they were very, very, very difficult on the ears. Watching Chris Klein take his time, we're kind of seeing that same kind of strategy that we use in the open wheel stuff. Watch Chris kind of take his laps. He went real slow around there on his first one, and now he's cooking on the second.
Yeah, there are some things that you can learn in open wheel that you can translate over to stock car racing, but when you try and learn stuff in stock car racing that you want to try and see if it'll work in open wheel, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't.
You know, race car's a race car, though. Matty
Indeed.
Sizzler takes it to P7, so well done to him.
As of right now, nobody's taking the top spot away from the number 78. Oh, and he goes from P7 to P4, so not a bad improvement there on the lap time.
Not a bad improvement at all. Andy Sharon Jr. still holds the pole. Caleb Sisk has moved himself into second, just 0.005 of a second off for the double aught 6. That's not a lot. That's what, maybe
Not a lot.
That's maybe what, an inch or two. I always love those overlays, Justin. You know, when you start looking at the computer generated overlays with these guys,
just to see where one person is faster compared to the other.
Yeah, and it's
as much as I don't like technology, when it comes to that right there, that I will say is probably one of the best things they could have introduced, because it literally shows you how much of use of football terminology to show how much of a game of inches it is in qualifying.
Oh, it most certainly is, especially when you go to, for example, the open wheel stuff. When we go to Indianapolis, it kind of reminds me, of the struggles that some of the bigger teams endured this year in the iRacing 500, and we would go and look, and you'd be, like, oh man, I'm out to lunch, I'm, 11 thousandths of a second off, and you were 85th on the board from the pole, and you're 11 thousandths of a second off over 10 miles. And that's how close some of these things are. 5 thousandths of a second at 160, 70 miles an hour, you're talking about an inch or two. Pasako, he might be 6 inches behind, at right under a tenth off. Minute 30 left. We've got 4 cars that had not taken time. 27 cars have. 31 cars total signed in for tonight's Dover 160 here with the NTRL. Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Championship. Again, Mark Murphy, Justin Petchauer for P1 Broadcasting. Waiting on the final moments of qualifying to trickle away. Just 4 more cars to go, have not taken time as we wait for the grid.
I think 3 of those 4 cars decided to take EOL penalties to start at the rear. The only one that hasn't taken signified he will start from the back is the number 33 of Sean Roberts.
And that can be a valid, strategy here too, Justin. I mean, you don't want to underrate that. If you've got a big field like this and a mile like this, it could be a good strategy just to kind of sit in the back and wait on things to develop. Let some of the guys in front of you, maybe let some of the guys in front of you clean each other out. It's much easier to pass a car on the hook in the pits than it is to pass them out on a racetrack sometimes, don't you think?
Yeah, at 8 times out of 10, the strategy can work, but I've seen other times where somebody has done that and it's not worked out good. It's actually come back to bite them in the rear end.
Absolutely, indeed. So we are now checkered flag in qualifying. Stand by. We'll get the grid up and ready to go for you, Justin.
All right. Well, it's going to be one heck of a fun race here at Dover. 160 laps. Should go by relatively quick, as I've heard some very good things about this league. So like I said, it's like you said, let's get the show on the road here. On the pole tonight, it is the number 78 of Affy Sharon Jr. with a time of 23:803. Starting in next to him on the outside is the 006. Just one away from James Bond number. One away from James Bond number. Caleb Sisk with a 23:808. Starting in third place, it is Ryan Pasoko. And starting fourth, it will be the number 91 of Matt Sisler. P5 will be the number 1 of Derek Welch 2. Starting sixth will be Nick Biddy. Starting seventh, the number 41 of Chris Gones. The eighth place car will be number 13. Hopefully he's got luck on his side for that one, because usually number times 13 will be unlucky. Will be Tall Durkee. Paul Ferdiani, I hope I said that right, will be starting ninth. And starting in 10th place will be Dylan Bryan, the number 8. 11th will be Jesse Redding in the number 21 car. Starting 12th will be Zach Hawley in the number 24. 13th will be Mike Fahy. I hope I'm saying that right. In the car number 19, Brandon Coleman. Car number 11 will be 14th. 15th will be Justin Lawson. 16th will be Crystal Villano. 17th will be Andy Sizemore. 18th will be Nicholas Tucker. 19th will be Skylar Herod in car number 3 for Dale. Go get him, man. And starting 20th will be Chris Klein. 21st will be Tom Barish. 22nd will be Russell Endicott, or Endicote. Like I said, I hope I'm saying that correctly. 23rd will be Chris Schusler. 24 will be Joe David. Scott Milner will be starting 25th. Joseph Bennett will be 26th. And starting shotgun on the field will be Benjamin McKinnon. And 4 cars not taking time will be the number 18 of Joshua W. Moore, number 9 of Thomas Welch, Chuck Kiger, car number 22, and starting shotgun on the field will be Sean Roberts at number 33. That is your 31 car starting field for tonight here at Dover.
31 cars did sign in for tonight's event, headed by Alfie Sharon Jr., bringing up the rear, Sean Roberts, 29 Xfinity machines between them. Just and go ahead and apologize to these drivers, these campaigners out here. Justin and I, new to this series, we are going to get some names wrong. If we get them wrong, feel free to message us, put it in the Discord, let us know how to pronounce your name. If you've got a nickname, we're more than happy to accommodate those too, and we'll get going on that. Learning experience for all of us tonight. Lights are set to get ready to go out atop the Ford Mustang pace car. We have 1 lap to green, Justin.
1 to green, and it's going to be one heck of a. It should be a crazy race. That going down into the turns here, you literally have that roller coaster feeling. You literally dive down. When you dive down, it bottoms out, and you almost have to make sure you have enough grip on the tires. That way, you don't necessarily have the rear end snap loose on you.
Yeah, these are very tricky corners to come off of. Going to be something to watch for, most definitely, as the green flag gets set to wave. 160 laps of Xfinity action here tonight at Dover for the NTRL. So happy that they've allowed us to broadcast the Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Championship. Again, lights are out on the pace car. They're coming through turns number 3 and 4. Affley Sharon Jr. and Caleb Sisker front row.
Pace car is off. What do you say there, Mark? Let's go have some fun watching stock cars here at the Monster Mile.
Go fast and have fun, boys. Green flag is in the air.
Let's go from Dover, and already a stack up on the inside line before they even make it to turn 1. I think a couple of cars at least spun their tires. That is the case a number of times here at Dover on cold tires. That wheel spin as you come up off of turn 4 here, let alone turn 2. A couple of rows already side by side, but majority of it, the rest of the field is pretty much getting into single file. They're feeling their cars out. to find ways to either stretch that fuel run to get just a little bit more out of the car itself. And I think we just lost one of our drivers.
Ryan Prosecco is showing in the pit lane. Actually, he has already exited the service, already 2 laps down now. So Ryan out of the server.
Caution is out already.
Caution is out. Let's see what we got.
I think we might have had a wreck on the backstretch here.
Looking to see. Everybody looks pretty good on my screen. I haven't found the spinner. Let's go back.
I haven't found him. Oh, wait a minute.
I was going to say, let's go back in the Wayback Machine, but
there it is on the backstretch. It is the number 31.
All right, so the number 31, that would be Scott Milner. And let's see what befell Scott. We already do have guys headed for pit lane.
Looked like he was going down to either block or try and get a run on the guy ahead of him. And Dylan Bryant in the number 8 Superman car from behind just... I don't know if there's beef or what, but it looked like there was a bit of a brake check.
Let's see if we can't get a little bit of a better angle on that for us, Justin, because there was definitely contact as they came down the back stretch. I'd like to maybe could see that just in a little bit of a different way.
From what I'm seeing, it looked like there was a little bit of an intentional brake check. I could be wrong.
Slow it down here.
He just slams on his brakes right in front of the number 8 of Dylan Bryant. Right in front of that's a Formula One scheme car up ahead of Scott Milner here.
Could be. I'll rewind it one more time from the chopper here. Going down the back.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a brake check there.
It could have been, and back this up just one more time, but it could have been that Milner just kind of didn't get off the corner all that well, and the 8 got in the back of him. But that's going to be the cause of your first caution. It does not appear as though anybody hit anything, though.
Yeah, everybody basically split him as they were going through turn 3 there when he was coming back up the track.
Yeah, so good heads-up driving by everybody in this NTRL field. We're under caution, working lap number 5 of 160. Caleb Sisk, your leader, he did get around Alfie Sharon Jr. Matt Sizzler is 3rd, Derek Welch 4th, and Nick Biddy is 5th.
That was already that was somewhat expected, but not expected to say the least, because it's Dover. Things can always happen early on, and then you got a long green flag run, and then a little bit more chaos, and then another long green flag run.
You know, and that's very true here. Cautions do breed cautions. Interesting to see. We did have Dylan Bryant, Sean Roberts, Chris Klein, Benjamin McKinnon, and Chuck Kiger take the pit lane. And so those guys have added some they've added some gasoline here. They may or may not have changed tires. I don't believe any of them did based on the time in the box. But let's see if that helps them out. Maybe go long here, catch a fortuitous yellow. You're in the back anyway. Why not, right, Justin?
Yeah, might as well take a shot. It's it's 160 laps. You know how to you have to work the strategy out as best you can.
Most certainly do. Lights are out on top of the Mustang pace car. 30 cars remaining in the event. Ryan Pasacco has disconnected, so 30 cars, all of them on the lead lap. We head back through turns 3 and 4 under caution. Caleb Sisk leads them. Alfie Sharon Jr. is going to be 2nd. Sizzler and Welch make up the second row. Let's take him back to green, Justin.
Pace car is off. The field is waiting, and a few cars are straggling in the back there. Now they bunch them up together. Green flag back in the air. Here we go again. A little bit more cautious this time from everybody else in the field. But so far, so good as they roll through 1 and 2.
Absolutely. Everybody getting kind of just single file, ready to log some laps. 160 laps here isn't exactly a long race, but it's not really a short one either. These cars can do, based in my experience, 60, 70 laps on a tank of gas if they really wanted to. But this race is a lot like Darlington to me, Justin, where you just want to kind of get it to the end, keep it off the wall, keep yourself in one piece, and you got a shot at it.
That's kind of the thought process, to put it more like it. I was trying to think of something else to say to describe it, but the thought process is a better way to describe it. Yeah, with this one though, you can go that long on a tank of fuel, but in how you run the tire, your driving style, and how you either overdrive it or underdrive it, depends on whether you go towards the front and contact. He saves it somehow as they go through 3 and 4. Well done there on the save. As I was back to what I was saying though before I caught that out of the corner of my eye, with Dover here, even in the Gen 6, even in the next Gen Cup car, your driving style depends on how good of a tire wear you can have in the long run. If you abuse it, if you cold trickle it and just push like hell for 40 or 50 laps, you're gonna abuse that right front tire. But if you underdrive it just a little bit, let it roll through the center of the corner, use a little bit of brake here and there, you can save that tire wear to where instead of falling back for even further, if you're up at the front, you can essentially start making that charge towards the front because you were the one that played it smart by saving your tires better than everybody else.
And that's a great shot right there. Looking out of the rear bumper of Caleb Sisk, back at Alfie Sharon Jr. running second. You get a great sense of how bumpy this track is. Just watch the nose of Alfie Sharon Jr. As he rides along behind Caleb Sisk, your leader. Sizzler third, Biddy fourth. Gones rounds out your top five. Welch, Durkee, Ferdiani, Hawley, and Sizemore, the remainder of your top 10. Let's go in the cockpit of Alfie Sharon Jr. and maybe you can kind of talk a little bit about that, about what you're seeing, Justin.
Yeah, you could see where he's going through the corner as best he can, to where he's trying to figure out where he can plant the nose of the car to get the most air underneath it, because at times this place can produce some pretty dirty air. So caution.
It's going to be Jesse Redding. Jesse Redding goes for a spin on the front straight. So caution is out, lap 15 of 160 here in the NTRL Dover 160. Let's have a look and see if we can't figure out what happened to Jesse Redding. Get the Wayback Machine going here. Did he have some assistance, Justin?
Yes, he did. He had assistance from the 18. A little bit too much of a run by the 18 coming off of turn 4 and just booped him around. There's minimal damage, though, on the front end of that Mustang, though, for the 21 of Jesse Redding. The only bit, though, that does have damage is the rear end.
Get a shot here on the left rear, and you guys at home will absolutely be able to see the contact. This is a great shot, Justin. This is looking out of what would be the left rear door, essentially, of Jesse Redding. And you can hear him hunting for the grip down there, can't you? And there it is.
Yeah. Just the simplest of love taps, as I'm going to call them. We'll send you around here at Dover. No harm, no foul, though. That's just the nature of the beast here at the Monster Mile.
Most certainly it is. But we're working caution number 2 of the day, lap 17 now. We did have several cars come on the pit lane. Benjamin McKinnon, Paul Durkee, Dylan Bryant, Justin Lawson, Brandon Coleman, Sean Roberts, Thomas Welch, Chris Klein, and Chuck Kiger all came to pit lane. Again, given the pit stop times, it doesn't appear that people are taking tires at this point. Just gas only.
Yeah, if like I said, if you're able to save your tires as best you can, especially in this early portion of the run, you kind of don't need tires. You might be able to just get a clean windshield, top off to try and extend that fuel run a little bit further. But if you have to get a clean windshield, I question what's been hitting your windshield, whether it's been beer cans from disorderly fans in the stands over here, or if there's been some pretty big bugs that you've been hitting out of the racetrack.
You know, that's a good question. And I don't run stock cars all that much, so you may be able to answer this question better than I. But do the windshields, especially at a place like Dover, where we can see the marbles forming already up next to the wall, do you really get that dirty of a window? I know in the open wheel stuff, tear-offs are pretty much mandatory at every pit stops, but what about these cars?
Yeah, depending on how long the green flag run has been going, it's kind of, I don't know how to explain it, self-mandatory. It's not mandatory by the series itself, but it's self-mandatory to essentially get a clean windshield. But that all depends on how much dirt, dust, tire wear, tire marbles have been laid down on the track over the course of the run. If it's been, let's say, the length of the race here, you pretty much would have no choice but to get a clean windshield. But this early on, not really mandatory to get a clean windshield.
It's I go back to the DW12 days and some of the dark horse and DOVER races I've run. I live in fear of not mapping the tear off button on my steering wheel.
Been there, done that.
Looking out the front of Derek Welch, his view is pretty clean. And we'll go back to Jesse Redding. He is the final car in line that has not pitted. He is also fairly clean. We've got one to go as they trickle off into turns number 1 and 2 here at Dover. We are watching the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Dover 160 here live on the P1 Broadcasting Network. Anybody out there watching, give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe to the page. It's always helpful and appreciated.
It'll help grow this channel even more. Because we got some big things in the work for the future. We can't announce it just yet. It's the pen is still being the pen to the paper with the ink is still being finalized. But folks, hang on, because 2025, it's going to be one hell of a ride in the most exciting way possible. When the time is right, it'll be announced, and you will not want to miss it. Get ready to come back to green here at Dover.
Absolutely. Your leader, Caleb Sisk, going to bring him off at turn number 4. Alfie Shaffron Jr. is second. Sizzler third. Biddy fourth. Chris Gones rounds out your top 5. They'll hit the loud pedal and haul off into turn 1. Great jump from Caleb Sisk.
Perfectly timed on that restart by Caleb Sisk. He caught him sleeping. He caught Affy sleeping there, and I could have sworn I saw contact, but it might have just been something from the infield there.
Everybody safely through turns 1 and 2. Looking back deeper in the field, we're going to take a look at Benjamin McKinnon. Those cars got 2 and almost 3 wide there very briefly. Not something you want to be doing at Dover 3 wide off of a corner here. And we've got a car control.
Turn 1 here. 2 cars in the wall.
That appears
and stuck together.
Yeah, they couldn't get off of one another, and those appear to be the 2 beer cars. The Budweiser machine of Joseph Bennett and the Miller Lite car of, is it Russell Endicott there that I'm seeing?
Yep. And I'm just going to say this. That was nothing more than a racing deal because squeezed in just a little bit too much there with Nicholas Tucker, and Tucker had nowhere to go, bounced off the wall into Endicott, and just turned down the front straightaway. Literally drug his car the length of the front straightaway, almost turned him over.
And that's something that's pretty easy to do, and people might not realize it. It's when you start spinning like that, especially at a place like this, where you're nose into the wall, it is almost impossible to get off the guy, and you see it. Endicott in the fence, and the 88 just cannot. He can't stop. Right? He's not able to put on the brakes and stop his car to quit from hitting him. So all he can really do is just kind of slow down.
Go with the momentum.
Yeah, go with the momentum and kind of slow down, and it hurts the guy on the outside because he just keeps hitting the fence. But there's not really all that much you can do. All that much you can do to avoid that once it starts.
Yep, that's as someone who's had that happen before. You might as well just let go. You put your foot on the brake pedal just a little bit, depending on if you could see where you're going, and you're just along for the ride.
That's right. So Russell Endicott on pit road to effect repair, and he's going to be back out after a 7.2 second pit stop. So he'll be back out after a 7.2 second pit stop. Joseph Bennett coming off pit road. Chuck Kiger, he is down and away, as is Justin Lawson in the 20. Chris Klein in the 51. Ahead of them, Sean Roberts, Skylar Harrod, Joseph David, Nick Biddy, Caleb Sisk came to pit road and took fuel and tires. Thomas Welch, Benjamin McKinnon, Paul Durkee, Brandon Coleman, and Dylan Bryant all pitted under that last caution. Dylan Bryant has been to pit lane twice. Roberts and Klein have been to pit lane 3 times. The top 15 have not stopped in this race. So differing strategies, and we wonder, again, what the fuel window is going to look like. Are there tire limits in this one, Justin? I got so wrapped up. I got so wrapped up I failed to look.
Tires set limit in this race is 3.
All right, so for our fans at home, if they have a tire set limit of 3, that includes the set they started on. So you get 2 changes on the pit lane, and so going up and down here, it appears with anywhere from 4.9 to 6-7 second stops, it doesn't appear that many of these competitors took tires. Skylar Harrod appears to me to be the one that did 14.9 seconds in the box. Everybody else in the low single digits, and to me that indicates gas only, Justin.
Yep, and from what I've seen, what I was able to find out, 55% on the maximum fuel allowed. So this really throws it into, you have to know when and where to go.
It kind of reminds me of the series that's going to be starting a little bit later here on P1. The Gary and I believe LGN are going to be taking care of the ISRA series. That's Mike Rigney and his bunch. They're going to be running, I believe they're going to be running trucks this evening. They did Xfinity cars last season, so this would be trucks. And those guys and gals are going to be taken to the speedway. But Rigney likes to do that. He likes to leave them one set short, so they have to double stint a set of tires, and that can be quite interesting.
If you know how to double stint tires properly, you are pretty much guaranteed possibly a win, but a foregone conclusion of a top 5 if you know how to double stint your tires properly and save them literally to a T.
Yeah, and that's the issue, right? Do you know how to save them? Because especially here at Dover, and I haven't raced here in these cars a whole lot, but I've called quite a few races here, and you can burn the right rear off here very, very quickly. Pace car is down and away. Justin, they're getting into that Geico restart zone. How about it?
Getting ready to come back to the restart after caution number 2 for 2 cars that decided to get hooked on each other. Oh, a little bit of tire spin on the leader there. It looked like it sacked up a bunch of the field. But here we go, off at the turn 1. It looks like we got 3 wide almost.
Oh, Chris, boy, they are 3 wide now, Justin.
Here we go. Sharon Jr. tried to go for the lead, but here comes Matt Sizzler. He will take over the top spot as they come off of turn number 4.
Sizzler gets the lead, going second. Sharon Jr. relegated back to third in the 78. Fahey and Welch into the picture. They're fourth and fifth. The top 5, incidentally, are covered by 0.2 of a second here. Looked like one of the cars up front might have spun up their tires a little bit, and that is very easy to do. You get hot tires, yellow flag, you get to pick up on them. You don't clean them up just good enough, and you can spin those babies up. After 27, 28 laps now, these cars have been out for a long enough period of time that there's definitely going to be some wear on those rears, Justin.
Yep. Triple front straightaway, another car around. It is Joseph Bennett, too. No caution yet. I am surprised by that.
He
gets it off the track.
He was absolutely junked, but he did get it towed. And let's get the Wayback Machine going, Justin, and figure out what happened to Joseph Bennett.
Coming off of turn number 4 here. Oh, the 6 bounced off the wall. Bennett literally just went right up into him. I don't know if he wasn't paying attention or what.
Ooh, and then he gets tagged.
Sleeping on that.
Barely
tagged.
He's going to get tagged by the 22
into the wall. Ow.
And then he gets the other end. He gets the other end rumpled up by the 22 for good measure. A tough break. Tough break for Joseph Bennett.
Oh.
He's going to be out of this one on the pit lane. Premature end to his day.
Very premature end there. That was I'm still blown away that they didn't throw a caution for that, but I guess they were waiting or something to see if he was going to be able to get it going or not, in terms of seeing if the motor was still running or just towed.
It could be one of those, and we've got a battle for 7th and 8th. That's going to be Andy Sizemore and Zeth Hawley going after it, 7th and 8th position, the 27 and the 24. Hawley on Sizemore there, but yeah, I mean, if it's iRacing yellows, we all know the story. If you're not on the racing line or technically on the racing surface, it won't throw it. And if a series has manual race control, then they're free to throw the caution or not throw the caution as they see fit. And I've done that job for another series, and that's always the hardest one. The guy is...
Turn one again! I saw one car out of the corner of my eye. Yep, there we go.
All right.
Man.
Tom Barish appears to be the automobile that got the worst of that one. Let's see if we can't... Let's see if we can't figure out what started this here.
Contact between him and the number 6
and that's
Caleb Sisk.
And that's the early...
Ooh.
That's the early leader, Caleb Sisk. It looks like he was going to go dive down low into turn 1. The 55 didn't necessarily... Let's see if we can't get a different angle. Didn't necessarily maybe agree with that. And...
I don't know if he tried to clear himself or what.
I think you just got two guys there trying to go for the same set of real estate. Watch it again.
Yeah.
Barish
looking at it now.
Yeah, Barish came down a little bit. And Sisk
I don't know
was there.
if you could see it. But I'm seeing a little bit of netcode contact.
That's one of the things that iRacing, iRacing kind of is, right? There's netcode involved, but I hate blaming netcode, right? Because you can kind of anticipate it, and maybe it's because as open wheel drivers we're a little bit more sensitive to managing netcode. But everybody on pit lane now, everybody but Sizzler and Hawley to the pit lane. 35 laps into 160. I think these guys have decided they're gonna want a set of tires here. Caleb Sisk, gas only. Biddy, David, gas only. Skylar Herod took tires. Indicat Sharon, Gones. You got to go all the way back. I think Nicholas Tucker and Paul Ferdiani would have taken them. Tom Barish is still on pit lane. He is under repair. A minute 40 minute 50 in his pit box. It's going to take some time to fix that number 55 machine. That was a pretty good lick.
Yeah, that was one. I'm just going to say it right now. That was one hell of a lick. I'm surprised it didn't break the safer barrier over in turn 1.
So question for you, Justin, because guys are different with this, and I know I do it one way, and it kind of depends on your sim equipment. But do you take your hands off the wheel when you're about to hit? Like that, if you know there's a big hit coming, do you take your hands off the wheel?
Yeah, I've been guilty of that for many years. Depending on what type of wheel you have and what have you, the smart thing is always just take your hands off the wheel and let the force feedback go haywire. That way you don't get yourself injured.
Yeah, and that's something
I've actually had my wrists get hurt courtesy of my wheel, but I've nearly broken my thumb on a friend of mine's direct drive, and it's not fun when it goes haywire from a hit and it whacks you in the hand.
Yeah, so that's
especially the thumb.
Yeah, so from an open wheel perspective, and those cars don't have power steering. I run a DD2 with an IndyCar wheel, and I know to take my hands off the wheel, but that's been since my much younger days in racing go-karts. My dad came over and got in my rig, and the first thing I told him when he sat down, if you're going to hit, take your hands off the wheel. He did not take his hands off the wheel, and as a result, sprained both of his thumbs. And so now he listens to me when I tell him, take your hands off the wheel. Lights are out on the pace car. Sizzler and Hawley have not stopped, as you can see on your crawler there. Sisk, Biddy, Herod, David, Endicott, Sharon, Moore, and Gones have. And so you would think that the advantage at this point would be with the cars that have rather than have not, because those guys that have not stopped have got to be getting awfully close on fuel.
Yeah, they're trying to stretch this run as far as they can. That's because they know with three tire sets, you have to try and double stint out. I'm just going to say they're trying to double stint. And it might work, it might not. And I have a feeling it might work for one, it's not going to work for the other.
And that's the thing. That's always the tough one when you get to a place like Dover as the pace car gets ready to pull on off here. We've got Matt Sizzler, Zeth Hawley on the front row. The 24 Jeff Gordon painted machine of Hawley looking to see if he can't snatch the lead. Here comes the green, the Geico restart zone, and racing resumes.
Yeah, he didn't take the lead in that instance. He was taking it easy as they coming over that bump, or should I say hump, off of turn 4 here. But hopefully, it's with the amount of cautions we already have, you figured these guys would, just settle down, get into a race pace rhythm to where they can go on a long green flag run, try and play fuel strategy out with the other one without wrecking each other. And hopefully that happens.
He was able to fight back on the outside, though, and go back around Caleb Sisk, who was your early leader and who drove up there. And so that bodes well for Zeth Hawley. Matt Sizzler is now pulled away a little bit. Nick Biddy is going to move up and start to challenge Sisk for third.
He's challenging him as best he can. But from what I'm seeing, he's literally up to the game to where he's playing mind games with him, saying you could try and force me into a mistake. It's not going to work.
That's a great view right there. It gives you an idea of the banking and some of the things that these drivers are seeing. Sometimes the cockpit view doesn't, but get the old gyro cam out. You can really see the banking. Look off to your left. You can see Nick Biddy fighting the steering wheel as the car starts to unload off the corner. You see him sawing on that wheel. This is one of those places where I think it should be almost mandatory you wear white gloves, just so the fans can see the action on the wheel. One of the things that fans will notice on our overlay as you watch, the fast lap right now is owned by Paul Durkee. As the standings scrolls through, you will see you will see, and I'm going to put everybody's best lap up right now, but as you scroll through, you will see one number in purple. The purple number belongs to the purple lap. Right now, that is Paul Durkee in the number 13. He runs 21st, about 5.5 seconds off the lead.
Now, I believe he went in and got tires recently. So if that's with that lap time, that's probably a fresh set of tires.
That would be
you wouldn't see that majority of the time being set with tires that are worn.
No, you wouldn't. But let's go follow Paul because he does have the purple lap. There's the number 13 on your screen, just kind of hanging out. He's at the back of a pretty good wad of cars there. Nicholas Tucker, who was involved in a previous incident, up next to the wall. He's got Justin Lawson in front of him and Brandon Coleman immediately behind that Budweiser livery machine. It looked like he got the wall a little bit there, Justin.
Yeah, I heard that. No mistaking that wall scrapes down here at Dover. How loud it is and how close you are to the track. Anytime you see a car get a little too close to the wall, 9 times out of 10 you'll hear that scraping sound. And I wouldn't. Some would say that's just the. You wouldn't call it a Darling stripe. That's a Dover strike.
That is a Dover strike. One of the things we have not talked about here today is the weather. You wouldn't think that weather would be an issue in a computer simulation, but it most certainly is. The track temperature is a warm 114 degrees. The concrete here at Dover basically reflects heat, and so the track, even though the air temp, and it's a sunny day in the sim, but even though it's a very comfortable 72 for the virtual race fans, the track is very, very hot. This track, more than almost as much as Indianapolis, can be extremely sensitive to the We got trouble on the back.
One car around, almost collects another.
That's going to be
mayhem.
That is going to be the 88 of Nicholas Tucker. He was involved in an earlier accident. He's involved again here. Let's go see if we can't see what started that for Nick Tucker.
Coming off of turn 2 there, Brandon Coleman. Oh, wasn't expecting the 88 to try and I was going to say it right now, to try and Brazilian clear himself coming off of turn 2.
You know, and that's very hard to judge here, and our fans are going to see it. See, it just kind of comes up and just wasn't quite clear, and then gets dragged all the way down the backstretch with the nose into the wall. A tough break for Nicholas Tucker, but that's very difficult to judge here at Dover.
Yeah, even in an Indy car here, it's when you try and clear somebody, you really, I don't know if there's a way to describe it. It's the peripheral vision. I think is the word I'm looking for here.
Well, for me,
it's also the sensation of speed and how quick you're going around here. It plays tricks on your mind where it's that you're like, okay, I'm clear, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm not.
Yeah, it does, and that's a great point, Justin. Our 2 leaders did come on pit road, and so they have cycled to the back. That's going to move Sisk and Sharon back up to the front. Biddy and Moore 3rd and 4th. Skylar Herod 5th. Dylan Bryant 6th. Chris Goins 7th. Russell Endicott 8th. Joe David 9th. Mike Fahey going to round out your top 10. Andy Sizemore, we'll go back and have a look at him. He is 11th. Crystal Volano 12th. Derek Welch 13th. Justin Lawson 14th. Paul Durkee 15th. Scott Miller, he is 16th. Thomas Welch 17th. Benjamin McKinnon 18th. Matt Sizzler 19th. Zeth Hawley, they were leading this race when that caution came out. The pit stops will cycle them back to 19th and 20th. Sean Roberts is going to be 21st. Nicholas Tucker 22nd. Chuck Kiger 23rd. Chris Klein, Kiger there, he was involved in an earlier accident where he clipped the rear of another spinning automobile. He's going to head back to pit lane to effect additional repair. Brandon Coleman there, you see he's 24th. Redding, Ferdiani, Barish, Schusler, and Bennett round out the 30 cars still in attendance. 27 through 30 are all multiple laps off the pace. Ferdiani and Barish 3 laps. Schusler and Bennett 4 laps in arrears. Ryan Pasacco, the only vehicle out of the race, 45 laps down in 31st. Use this opportunity, Justin, to kind of pay some bills. We'd like to call out Track Bar Media. Accelerate your success with Track Bar Media, tailored for small business owners. We craft dynamic social media content, custom iRacing videos, and unique merch with no minimums. Maximize your reach with our national billboard placement and meet our elite Track Bar Motorsports esports team. Track Bar Media, affordable, impactful, and fast. Race on over to www.trackbarmedia.net now to learn more. Beadle's Custom Car Carriers. We create 1/64th scale model car carriers, and we also make all our kits in-house. We can make trucks to your specs. You can check me out at Beadle's Custom Car Carriers on Facebook and at Beadle's on Instagram. We'd also like to thank Davidson Builders LLC for their support. Davidson Builders LLC in Cape May County, New Jersey, is a beacon of excellence in Cape May County. Standing as a testament to family values and military dedication. As a veteran-owned and operated general contractor and remodeler with over 25 years of unmatched experience, we marry quality with affordability. From tailored customizations to expert craftsmanship, we paint dreams into reality across residential and commercial landscapes. Check them out. It's www.davidson-builders.com. And we'd also like to give a shout out to Hey Thumbs Racing fans. Are you looking to upgrade your ride? Whether it's your truck, car, Jeep, boat, UTV, ATV, Prospec has you covered. Locally owned and operated in Jacksonville, Duval County, Florida, Prospec specializes in high-quality accessories and installations that take your vehicle to the next level. From custom lighting like underglow and rock lights to top-of-the-line sound systems and backup cameras, we've got everything you need to make your ride truly yours at Prospec. We bring your vision to life with precision and care. Visit them today and see why Jacksonville's go-to source for all things automotive and beyond. Prospec, where quality meets customizations. We head back to green. Go to the description in the video. Check out all the sponsors, especially Prospec. They are the title sponsor for the series. Really cool stuff on their website, so go check them out.
Indeed, one of the new up and coming sponsors here in the sim racing world, and I saw a couple of cars spin their tires on the restart here. I thought we were gonna have trouble in the front straightaway again. Another car, two cars oh my goodness, more cars involved, and it's a course blocker here.
Multiple vehicles involved. That's almost a track blocking incident, and those are not just multiple cars involved. Those are going to be multiple cars torn up. We've got the 32 is crab walking, as you see it on the screen. He is crabbing through turns 1 and 2. Let's see if we can draw a bead kind of on what happened here, Justin.
Yeah, that was the number 32 and the 18 that were battling hard. They I really don't know how to describe it. They were battling hard coming off of turn 4, washed up into each other. The 18 almost turned the 32 over. We all thought that it was going to be done and over with until right down in front on the front straightaway, two cars decide to push each other into the 32, leading to a course blocking incident.
Yeah, and that's one of those things you do not want to dodge an accident low here. You see the accident continues, the wreck continues. The 57, he goes for a ride. The 13, unlucky for Paul Durkee, the fast lap holder, he gets collected. Multiple cars involved, and a shame because there were some of those guys that were really fast cars, Justin.
Oh yeah, some very fast cars. And oh my God, I'm looking at the replay again on the number 57. That was one hellacious hit.
Yeah,
not just once but twice.
They have all taken some pretty good licks, and we watched the 32 come off a pit lane. He's followed by the 07 and others, but a lot of guys headed in to get some fast effect repair here. Unsure, Justin, if you don't mind, take a look, see if they've got a fast repair. That would be something to follow. I don't see that. Well, I take that back. There are cars that appear to have used them. So Nick Biddy has, Thomas Welch, Crystal Verano, I believe, have used fast repairs. But there are cars that are showing up in my timing screen that have used them. So most leagues give you one.
Yeah, most leagues will give you one, but there are other times where leagues will basically just say, "You take your licks and move on to the next one. If you're out, you're out."
And those are always tough, especially when you run full distance IndyCar races. Those are always tough because you get caught up in an incident of your own doing. It doesn't take much. You're out of the race, and you have no recourse. That's one of the nice things about the sim is you're able to hit the reset button if you get caught up in an accident not of your own doing. Come hit fast repair.
Indeed.
Look at the pace car. This is more or less what Caleb Sisk is seeing. A lot of fans out there may not know the pace car in iRacing is hollow. And so one of the things that I routinely do to ruin Gary Godso's immersion is put my car inside the pace car during caution flags. Justin has seen me do that. And did you know, Justin, that there is somebody in the pace car and the gauges in the pace car work?
Yeah. We finally, after much suspicion from those of us longtime sim racers that go all the way back to mid-late 90s, early 2000s, we finally got a mystery solved, even though most of us gauged who it actually was. Good old Fred Jones retired from driving in the Papyrus NASCAR world and came over to the iRacing world as the pace car driver.
Go along with Barney the flagman, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always forget his full name. At one point I knew it, but I never can remember Barney's full name. I just remember it's Barney. Kind of looking back through the field here. They get lined up. You can see the lights are out on the Ford Mustang pace car here.
Yeah, other series will have Barney the flagman, but for those of us in the IndyCar world and iRacing, we have our own flagman. He occasionally races from time to time, but he's our permanent flagman. Aaron Likens is our flagman for the iRacing IndyCar series, Indy Oval Fixed, and various other series that pertain with IndyCar.
And haven't seen Aaron recently. Of course, he's in the middle of his busiest time of year, but in the off-season, you will see all sorts of motorsport personalities in various series. Pace car is off, headed toward the Geico restart zone, and you see it down there, fans. It's painted on the inside. They can go anytime in that box. The leader has to be slightly ahead. There's the green, and away we go. Let's see if we can make it. Through this restart. 57 of 160 complete.
They're stacking up a little bit on the front. Oh, I think we got a problem here with one car. Is he slow? Has he got a tire going down or what?
It might.
He was stacking.
It could just be damage. The car just didn't come up to pace. That appears to be the 31 of Scott Milner, although he's back up to song now, Justin.
I think he missed a shift. He almost money shifted, as we jokingly refer to accidentally going down a gear on the restart.
Yeah, the old went from second to first instead of second to third. I've done that. Guilty. Right.
In this case, I went from second to neutral by accident.
That's always fun on a wheel that has 47 buttons on it. Is you go to hit your weight jacker or radio button and you accidentally select neutral. I don't recommend that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
But it does appear as though Scott Milner has got it back up to speed here.
Yeah, he does.
We've got a heck of a battle brewing, though, 6th, 7th, and 8th. That is Andy Sizemore, Skylar Harrod, and Matt Sizzler bringing up the caboose of that three-car battle.
Yeah, I believe that is Andy Sizemore up on the top side here. Almost made a little bit of contact there with Skylar Harrod, but he made it work somehow. But yeah, he was trying to work his way around by running the high line almost all the way through. You can run the high line all the way through, but you kind of want to stay towards the bottom because relatively that's the fast lane, unless you know how to what we affectionately call the Andretti diamond cut, enter in low, let it track out a bit, and then enter the middle of the corner low again, and then power off of the corner.
Yeah, I mean that's my kind of preferred line around here. I always felt the exits of the corners at Dover, especially. We follow this battle between Herod and Sizzler. I always felt that this track got extremely narrow on corner exits. So, like, I'm always telling myself in my head, hey, let's make sure you get to the bottom coming off the corner. There's Nicholas Tucker. That's going to be David Welch, Fahey, and Tucker right in the line. Sean Roberts 13th in the 33. Those cars go at it. Battles all over the speedway here.
Yeah, there's a heck of a battle now for ninth place here. Joe David was getting run into from behind by Derek Welch a little too much. And David is up on the high side there, running about what I would call the middle groove a little too much. Oh, bounces up the wall just a tad bit. And that's going to be enough for Derek Welch to get by him. Now he's trapped up on the outside against Mike Fahey. Fahey washed up just a tad bit. Gives him enough space because all the time you have to leave the space, especially at Dover.
That's right, and now you've got you got David. He's hung up on the high side, and that's a tough place to be. We're gonna see Sean Roberts now dive to the bottom, and cars are passing poor Joseph David in wholesale fashion here in the number 6. Once I think he started this out 7th, but they're going by him pretty good. And you don't know what kind of damage he's got on the right side of that number 6. It looks okay, but you could have knocked out the toe. You could have knocked out the rear end housing. It might not be handling as well as it once did. And there's a little love tap from Chris Klein. He says hello to Joseph David.
He might have also accidentally knocked off with the tire pressure tube valve.
You could have
the little screw top.
You could have done any sort of thing. It could have messed it up a little bit aerodynamically, and side force here at Dover. It's not so much downforce or front end or rear end downforce, but side force is huge.
It's side force is crucial here. Doesn't matter if it's in the trucks, heck, even in the Cars Tour, late model stock. Side force, no matter what type of stock car it is here, is crucial because it helps you get through the corners, let alone trying to get by somebody that's either on old tires or, as I proverbially call, lapper trash. And I heard that first in DMP on the DMP forums years ago. I ever since then, I've coined that as a term for a lap down car, is lapper trash. If a lapper trash car effectively or accidentally hits the side of your car, that's your side force, whether it's the left side or the right side, gone. And good luck trying to get through unless you're able to fix it to a certain extent. Even then, a clean side force is what you want.
It is indeed, and I did see the message in chat about Trading Paints. Yes, Trading Paints is on. I don't know exactly why all of the liveries are not appearing. Certainly some of them are. We do apologize to our good friends at the NTRL if they are not appearing on some of these automobiles, because it is on. We do take account of that. Something that we'll definitely have to look into and fix for next week, Justin. But
yeah,
still really good battle here. This is Zeth Hawley. He has pulled himself up to the front of this train that's trying to pass Joseph David, who has fallen. Joe David, who's fallen back to 14th now. He'll be in the clutches of Crystal Verano in 15th momentarily. Meanwhile, Caleb Sisk and Alfie Sharon are back 1-2, and they have checked out from Chris Gomes.
Yeah, they've definitely figured it out in terms of saving tires, to where you can stretch it out long enough to get within a fuel window range in terms of laps. If you can get into that window on a certain lap, you're pretty much good to go the rest of the way, while everybody else is literally scrambling with the playbook and everything to figure out, okay, where do we go wrong? We have to do this better. We have to do this like right now.
Indeed.
To try and get back up to him.
For any of you fans out there that want to know what 2.5 seconds at Dover looks like, well, the lead now
there it is.
almost 3 seconds. That is looking out the back of Alfie, and he is looking at the back. He is looking toward Chris Gones in third place. And if you want to see what it looks like the other way, let's have a look out the windshield. That is what a 2.7 second gap looks like. Just basically bumps on the horizon. They are going to disappear from view very shortly. Sisk, Sharon running almost a full tenth of a lap quicker than Chris Gones and Dylan Bryant and others. And Gones has pulled away from Bryant by a couple of seconds as well.
Yeah, Gones he's getting amphibious with his line. And that's pretty much almost the way you have to do it within the race, depending on where you feel comfortable with it. If you can get amphibious with your line, trying to find that clean air to get by the car ahead of you, it can work wonders as we see a battle like almost 3 wide here between 8th, 9th, and 10th. I thought they were going to try and go 3 wide off of turn 4 because even in real life, as we've seen, 3 wide does not always work.
It doesn't. 3 wide. 3 wide here, in my experience, even in an open wheel car, is really iffy. Just because,
it's a death sentence.
Yeah, and we'll show you why here, fans. If you look at the cockpit, watch how quickly that wall just almost jumps out at Derek Welch as he works off of turn number 2, and then you're instantly back into turn number 3. And looking to set the car up for another corner. We've got green flag pit stops happening as well in the middle of all this. The 27 just got extremely loose coming off the corner. Is Welch going to be able to capitalize here?
The only time will tell to see if he is going to be able to capitalize here. But this might work for the guys that have decided to come in early.
It very well may. Green flag pit stops here are not going to be your friend. You're going to lose at least 2 laps. Tucker, Herod, Joe David, all on pit road. But you're seeing guys coming to pit road. And if you have to pit under green here, you're going to lose at least 2 laps?
2 laps.
2 laps. So you do not want to make a green flag pit stop if you don't have to. Meanwhile, up at the front, Chris Gones has gone to second. And that is because our good friend Caleb Sisk has made a pit stop. He's come in. He's taken 4 fresh Goodyear tires, topped it off with Sunoco gasoline, and he is back out 20 laps, or in 20th place. He is 1 lap down, and at the very tail end of 1 lap down, I might add.
He timed it perfect on going in and knowing when he was going to be able to get by the leaders.
That's true. Now
that's crucial.
That's true. Now, has anybody saved an extra set of tires for that last stint? We believe they're going to have to make 1 more stop. Correct, Justin?
At least 1 more stop.
So, has anybody saved a set of tires for that last run? Is my question.
I hope they did. Because if they didn't, you're going to regret it. You are going to regret it.
Purple lap for Matt Sizzler. 24.102 for his last time by. So his name goes into purple on the board. And if you look at it, 152.209. That is
what's this on the front straightaway? The heck happened here? Ooh. Contact between the 32 and the 11. Just wiped him out.
Well, let's see what we got, Justin. Let me see if I can't find the 11. The 11 is still trucking. That is Brandon Coleman. We see him. You said the 32 was the other vehicle? It was the other car?
Yeah, it was the 32.
He's still out there as well, so everybody must have got it back up ship shape. Everybody keeps it pointed in the right direction, and we continue under green. But the cars that just came to pit road, that would be Sisk and Sizzler, the 2 leaders, they are much, much quicker than their counterparts out here right now, for sure.
The other one that was also involved was Paul Durkee. He slammed the inside wall checking up to avoid it.
Most certainly did. More cars coming to pit lane now. Milner, Sizemore. It appears as though 50 laps might be just about as far as you want to go, depending on cautions. We do have cars that have been out there for 50 laps, including your leader, Alfie Sharon, Chris Gones, Dylan Bryant, and Joshua Moore. 51 laps on the current run. Mike Fahey running 7th. He's been out there for 51 laps. Benjamin McKinnon, Brandon Coleman, they have also been long. Well, Coleman not. McKinnon has. Derek Welch has decided now to hit pit road. And we'll show that. He'll bring the number 1 into pit lane. Hit his marks. Car goes up on the jack, so Derek has decided he's going to take some tires. But looking at lap times and still looking at those, Caleb Sisk, a 24.822 last time. Alfie Sharon, 25.732, so almost a full second quicker there for Sisk with those fresh tires. He's made it up to 16th, and he is 1.2 seconds a lap quicker than Chris Gones.
Indeed on that.
And we've got the leader. We've got the leader on pit lane, so he has given it up 53 laps in to the current run.
He stretched out that run as long as he could, and this might actually work out. It might work.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're going to come get the fresh tires. We're going to watch Chris Gones bring his number 41 Hellman's machine down pit lane. But you're looking at one of those deals where, at this point, Sisk and them guys that went for the undercut, their tires are going to start going off. Gones, Bryant, the guys on pit road now, their tires are going to be fresh. They might be able to undercut the undercut coming back out, or the overcut as you were back out for Chris Gones. He'll rejoin, it appears, 12th, 13th, something like that. Whoa, we got a spin. He saved it. That was the
How did he save it?
That was the 88 of Nicholas Tucker. That was scary. Nicholas Tucker came off a turn number 2 next to Skylar Herod and completely sideways saved the automobile. But now he's got trouble because he's got Chris Gones on fresh tires right behind him, and Nicholas Tucker is 11 laps into his current run, so he's got some heat, he's got some pressure built up, and Gones just drives it right underneath the 88, and he'll take back 12th spot.
I'm speechless.
So let's kind of reset. So let's kind of reset things for you here, Justin. Zeth Hawley leads it. He's been out 43 laps. Sean Roberts second. He's 37 laps in. Thomas Welch 38. Chris Klein 37, and Justin Lawson 38 laps on their current runs. Chuck Geiger is 6th. Nice run up through the field for him. 35 laps on his tires. And then the first of the takers, Caleb Sisk, is 7th. He is back on the lead lap, although right at the tail end of it. 13 laps. Alfie Sharon, give a call down to him. 1 lap down, barely, but he is 3 laps in, so he's going to have the best tires. Matt Sizzler, 13 laps in. He's 9th. And Nick Biddy, round out your top 10. He has yet to hit pit lane, 37 laps on his current run.
Yeah, there are some that I'm seeing that are managing their tires as best they can, and others that are just they're going a little too hard. They're going a little too hard on the tire wear, and it's hurting them.
Here comes Zeth Hawley. So 45 laps was enough for the 24 as he blinks his way into pit lane. Let's get on.
That's one way to make a pit entry there. He blinks himself into pit lane.
There you go. Thomas Welch. He'll take the Mountain Dew number 9 into the lead. 41 laps out there for Welch. Well, I take it back. He will not. Sean Roberts is your leader in the 33, and he's one of those cars Trading Paints is not being kind to. He's 40 laps. So 40 laps in for Roberts, 41 for Welch, 40 for Klein, 41 for Lawson. These guys are going to be due soon, and when they come, that's going to hand the lead back to Caleb Sisk, who has about a 1.5 second advantage over Alfie Sharon Jr. In the 78. That gap is closing at the rate of 2 to 3 tenths a lap, Justin.
And 2 to 3 tenths is, depending on where you look at it and which track it's at. With here, that's a lot, because Caleb Sisk he's maneuvering around in traffic, and much like Phoenix, I would say, as well as I'm trying to think of another mile track that's run at. But traffic here can definitely play havoc with you.
Yeah, Milwaukee, New Hampshire, all those tracks.
That was the other one.
Yeah, all those tracks. Any mile, anything under. We were just at Gateway last week. Anything under a mile and a half, really, traffic can get to be a bugaboo, especially when you get on old tires and you've got aero wash and other things to consider. The track temp is one that we can consider too. Justin, that's been as low as 109 in this race. It's been as high as 115. It's at 113 now. The air is getting a little bit warmer, but weather plays into this too.
Oh yeah, weather will always play a factor, whether for good or bad reason.
And that's something that we can look at. Right now, the wind is also out of the southwest, and it's a pretty decent breeze. It's over 10 miles an hour, 55% humidity. There is no chance of rain. Of course, there is a dome over all ovals in iRacing, so it will never rain on an oval. We don't have to worry about that. But
never say never.
Never say never. But the wind is out of the southwest, and so I don't have it up in front of me, Justin. But if you could look at a map and tell us where that's blown across, that's gonna indicate handling issues. It would seem to me, at least from
that would be the southwest portion of the speedway. So that would roughly be around turn 3, coming off of turn 4. So there's a couple of cars that were getting a little loose coming off of turn 4 from what I was seeing here up in the front.
Yeah, and so that plays into it too. If you've got the wind blowing across you, pushing you down on the exit of a corner, that's going to loosen a car up. That's also going to tighten you up on the other end of the speedway, and we've seen several cars make contact with the outside wall coming off of turn 2, so that would track. Watching Thomas Welch right now running second. Sean Roberts continues to lead it, although Welch has more or less caught Sean Roberts for the lead as those two get ready to make their pit stops. And I wonder, with the stint links that we've seen, do you think that Welch and Roberts might be trying to do this on one more stop?
Oh. Contact there. We're going past the start-finish line here. I think they're trying to go on one extra, trying to go out that strategy, but I don't know if it's.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they can make it work. We've seen cars go as long as 52, 53 laps. Justin, they're at 48 and 49 respectively. Roberts has 1 lap of fuel on Thomas Welch, but those guys. Those guys are really going to have to go long. We've got 55, 56 to go. Whoa, trouble. The 9 is in the wall, the 27, and I think he ran out, Justin.
Yeah, I think he ran out. Oh, and he hits another car, and that's caution right there. Everybody's strategy the strategy that people were on, well, it just went out the window.
That's now gone, and the onboard is going to tell the tale for Thomas Welch as we get the Wayback Machine going. Here we go.
Oh yeah, I think he ran out.
Let's quiet, listen, and watch the tack.
Yep, that's a sputter right down the back. He ran out of fuel.
And now it's off.
But a hard hit nonetheless.
That was a hard lick for Thomas Welch. So from second,
Andy Sizemore had nowhere to go on that one.
He did not. So from the lead or second place, right at it, to a broken car in pit lane goes Thomas Welch. He will affect the fast repair, but he's got to get there first. He's under tow currently. That'll hand the lead back to Alfie Sharon Jr. and Caleb Sisk, and I feel like we're right back where we started, Justin, in this one.
Yeah, and it's chaos. It's just as I predicted.
And that's Dover for you, brother. That's kind of that's kind of the way these things tend to play. We've got 54 laps to go. We've got several lap cars in front of the leaders now. In stock car competition, you can have any one of 2 different ways to get a lap back. You can be picked up by the pace car in front of the leader, and then you'll get waved around, or you can have a lucky dog. And so if that is in effect here, Zeth Hawley would be the first car 1 lap down. Sizemore and Roberts are the tail end of the lead lap. Usually the lucky dog is going to happen coming to 1 to green. So we'll see if Zeth Hawley gets the hall pass around the top here. The front 2 cars are going to head for pit lane.
I believe that was Joe David that got the wave around. Because I remember seeing Joe David being 1 lap down, and then I think I heard him come over the radio comm and say, "Coming high, lucky dog."
There you go. So Andy Sizemore will bring it to pit lane. He's on pit road, as is Derek Welch, Mike Fahey, and David. They are on the lead lap. See Joe David here bring his number 6 to the pit lane. Do not see it go up on Jack, so this is fuel only. He may also be affecting repair. If you recall, he's been
might be a little bit as well.
He's been on and off the wall, and in a couple of fracas here, as they would say, down and away for Joe David. No real
fracas. That's a new term I've never heard.
It's a multiple for fracas, right? But David already at the back of the lead lap, and no real harm done here for him. Welch, Fahey, Robert, Sizzler, those guys were at the back of the lead lap anyway, so why not, right? Why not come on and top off, especially given they might be able to make it. Now, if it was questionable for the other 2, it is right on the line for the guys that just stopped: Sizzler, Roberts, Welch, Fahey, and David.
Yeah, it's there's a couple things that I'm just like looking back over here and just going, how did they either miss it, or was that really necessary?
No, there you go.
It's a few of the on track incidents already.
And that'll happen in any given race. Track temp, by the way, is dropped back down to 109, so the weather is ever changing here in virtual Dover, Delaware. We did have Mike Fahey come back to pit lane and top off the tank on the number 19 machine. How about that? 52 laps to go. And he's
got that strategy going.
You know, as they come back to green here, we're going to watch Alfie Schafran and Caleb Sisk on the first row, Goins and Brian on the second. But one of the things that always got me was I would come in and top off there, and we see Sharon get the jump on Goins, Sisk back to third. But I would come in and get that extra half gallon of fuel, and then I'd burn it up trying to catch the rear of the field.
I'm guilty of that as well. Just come in, top off. If there's a little too much that I know shouldn't have been in there, as that was a little bit of a kerfuffle there going through 3 and 4.
That would be Joshua Moore in the back of Caleb 6. The 006 takes a lick from the 18, and he'll go up the hill and let Moore go by. That is a pass for third, and Sisk will immediately come under fire from Dylan Bryant. So Bryant going to turn the 8 to the left down to the bottom through 3 and 4, and he'll get past Sisk, drop Sisk to 5th, and he is going to try to fall back in line, I would assume, although he drills the middle groove, and that's going to bring Crystal Volano. We haven't talked about Crystal Volano very much today in the 07, but Crystal up to 6th. How about that?
Yeah, Crystal has basically played a very interesting strategy, so to say, out very well. Just basically trying to figure out where the middle ground is in terms of where the car feels comfortable for now before making that run. And whatever she's figured out already, it's amazing. It's worked out beautiful, and I love seeing that.
Crystal Volano.
That's what makes the Xfinity series, in my opinion, or in this case the B series, B open, sometimes B fixed series, much better than. Oh, that was close off of turn 4 there.
It was
much better than the Cup series.
It was indeed, and Crystal Volano has run my kind of race. We have not called the name Crystal Volano yet today, and we look up.
It flown under the radar.
We look up 47 laps to the end. Does this remind you anybody? You look up in the last third of the race. We've got a car blinking a little bit up there, but you look up the last third of the race, and by Jove, there he is. Or there she is in this case.
Somebody was going slow on the front stretch here.
Somebody was indeed. That might be. Let's see if we can find it. No? Thought it might have been.
Missed it.
Thought it might have been Tom Barish, but not. Back to that battle with Volano Sisk. Matt Sizzler now owns the fastest lap. He is P7. You've got Sean Roberts 8th, Derek Welch 9th, and Skylar Herod round out your top 10. But that's very much the kind of drive I like to have in a race, Justin. I tell Gary all the time, if you say my name in the first half of the race, Caleb Sisk looks like he either got in the wall or just pulled over and let Crystal Volano go. But if you say my name before the final quarter, I've probably not done my job. So Wonderful run for Crystal Volano. Meanwhile, we got a battle brewing almost for the lead here. Chris Gones chasing down Alfie Sharon for the lead, about 0.7 of a second. Next nearest battle on the track is going to be Sean Roberts and Matt Sizzler, looking at Roberts 8th. He's looking at Sizzler for 7th. Sizzler does own the purple lap on this one. And then go a little bit further back, you got Mike Fahey and a whole lot of automobiles behind Nicholas Tucker.
What? What? That's a gaggle.
That is a whole bunch of them. However you want to say it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 machines, and you couldn't stick a piece of paper between any of them. Too wide.
That's a gaggle of cars there, and it's growing even more.
I think we found the battle for position. That's going to be 11th place Nicholas Tucker in the 88. He's followed by Mike Fahey in the 19th. You've got David up there. Remember, David.
There's a bump.
Remember,
I think Mike. Oh, trouble on front straightaway. Well, there goes a gaggle of cars and almost more cars involved.
57, get it saved, my man, Russell Endicott. 42 laps down, he manages to save it. We'll get back in the Wayback Machine here and have a look at Chris Klein and the trouble that befell the 51 here. But that you could almost see that coming, couldn't you, Dustin?
My gut was telling me something's going to happen just by the way these guys are racing each other, and end result was
Yeah, it just looked like that classic Dover thing. Come off the corner, try to come up, car high, and we go for a spin, and caution is out. So tough break for Chris Klein, running very close to the top 10 here. And now that means that our guys that came in and stopped and topped up and did all the things under that last caution, I believe those guys can make it now. Everybody else is going to come in and hit pit lane.
Yeah, they'll be able to make it.
David was the one that I was looking at, but everybody is coming in. I suspect that these guys and gals have saved one set of tires just for such an occasion. And let's watch David. He comes in, car up on jacks. The 61 is in front of Joseph. Don't see the BWT machine Formula One livery on an Xfinity car taking tires. The 55, that's Tom Barish. He is on your screen. He's parked in his pit stop, effecting repair in pit lane for over a minute.
He took the nose off of the 51.
So we'll reset the field for you here. 39 laps to go. 121 of a scheduled 160 here for the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Championship. I'm Mark Murphy, joined by Justin Petchauer, iRacing IndyCar Series competitor extraordinaire. Dylan Bryant leads it in the number 8. He's followed up by Joshua W. Moore in second. Sean Roberts in the 33 is third. Derek Welch fourth. And Alfie Sharon Jr. will round out your top 5. Back half of the top 10, Chris Goins, Mike Fahey, Crystal Villano running an excellent 8th. Caleb Sisk, 9th, an early leader. And Zeth Hawley will round out your top 10 back on the lead lap. You've got Matt Sisler in 11th. He owns the fastest lap of the race. Skylar Herod 12th. Nicholas Tucker 13th. And Joe David 14th. That is your lead lap cars. 15th, 1 lap down, Justin Lawson. Andy Sizemore 16th. Jesse Redding 17th. Chris Klein 18th. Nick Biddy is 19th. 2 laps down in 20th, Chuck Kiger. He's followed by Benjamin McKinnon, Scott Milner, and Scott Milner. 23rd, Brandon Coleman, 5 laps in arrears. Joseph Bennett, 24th. He's also 5 laps down. Chris Schusler, 6 laps down in 25th. Tom Barish still circulating out there, 7 laps down. Out of the race, Thomas Welch, Paul Ferdini, Paul Durkee back to 29th. Russell Endicott is soldiering on. He is 42 laps down. He's still able to make up a couple of spots. And Ryan Pasecco, an early retiree, 31st on the day.
And once Ryan Pasecco's connection went away, so to say, I was kind of hoping he'd be able to get back in, but I guess Jill saying goes, technology says, nope, you may have qualified up near the front, but not tonight.
Looking at the back of Joshua Moore's 18 machine, you've got the 32 is going to get his wave around, and so Dylan Bryan will pull up on the front row here. Moore will elect the outside. I believe the lights are off.
Yes, they are.
How about it, Justin? You think we get 37 laps to the finish of this thing?
I hope.
I hope. I know you guys like to do this, so place your bets. Who you got?
That's a hard one. It's a hard one to pick. I want to go with Crystal. I think she gets the win.
If I've got to win Clindy's money, and everybody knows I like winning Kyle Clinworth's money, I got to take Joshua Moore here. I'm gonna go with the 18. Pace car is off. Let's make sure we knock on wood so we didn't jinx any of these fine drivers. There's the green. Dylan Bryan will hit the accelerator, and we've got a crash on the front stretch.
There we go. Yeah, somebody did not go on the restart there, and it's a huge one. It's a course blocker, literally.
Well, see, that's what I get. I picked the 18, and it looked like he spun up the tires or missed a shift or had something go awry in that car because it did not go on the restart, and everybody on the outside line got collected in that. And you can see that.
Looks like he got up in the marbles and going through the marbles on the very high side of turn 4. Not good.
Yeah, and you can
nowhere to go. And look at the cars just getting tossed up in the air.
Yeah, that was definitely. Just kind of watch it slow. Yeah. Just kind of watch it slow time here. There he goes, and he turns. Oi. That's a definite tire spinner. He gassed it up, Justin, and it turned straight in the fence. And holy Moses, there goes the 93 up in the air.
The one as well caught air as well.
So,
and that's about half the field.
That's at least what 6 cars involved, and not a single one of them have a rear bumper cover.
They either do not have a rear bumper, or they don't have a hood or a fender.
And that's very true. The other piece of this, that we can kind of talk about is that was a lot of lead lap cars.
Yeah, that was the front pack.
At least on the outside line, we had at least 5, if not 7 or 8 lead lap machines. That
I'm just gonna say this. That almost reminded me of Jimmy Johnson when when the gear shift in his car got stuck and it wouldn't go up, and Truex had nowhere to go.
I will tell you this: the fast repair usage among those on the lead laps has increased dramatically as a result of that last incident. Pretty much everybody in the field now. Bryan and Roberts did not pit. Sharon, Fahey, and Sisk and Herod also did not pit, but they last stopped 5 laps ago, so they don't need to. Gones, David, and Sizzler all stopped and took their fast repair. Hawley stopped. He did not take the fast repair. Volano did stop and take the fast repair, as did Joshua Moore and Justin Lawson. Right, so those are the front 13. Only the top 12 on the lead lap at this point.
I'm going back to what you asked me before we went back green. At least a lap and a half or so before we went back green. You think they get the remaining 37 laps in? My gut instinct was just like, no.
Well, and both of our picks didn't make it through that, so I don't think we'll pick again. But let's give a call out to Mike Fahey. He was in pretty bad shape not too long ago. He at one point had the fastest lap. He's been to the back. He's been to the front. He now sits 4th. How about that?
How about that indeed?
Right. In it with a chip and a chair at the end here. You got to wonder if the guys Gones, David, Sizzler, Hawley, Volano, and Moore, who are kind of at the back of this lead group, if they took tires, if they had a set left, if it's possible that they did, right? Would you put those on and go? The track is dropping rapidly in temperature as we wait for the final. We wait for the lights to go out on the pace car. That would be an interesting one, wouldn't it, Justin?
It would be very interesting indeed.
That'd be like sitting on solid gold if you had a set of tires here, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We look at the 18 of Moore. He's going to speed off a pit road there. The penalty for that is just the end of the longest line, and he's already there anyway, so why not, right?
I will say this. I wish they would shorten that pit entry, though, just a tad bit. That way nobody would get a really unnecessary wrongfully exiting pit penalty. Because I've been involved in wrecks here for a number of years going into turn 1. And majority of the time when there's a wreck that happens in front, the natural instinct is to literally just go down towards the apron to avoid it. But with where that pit exit cone is placed, it literally shouldn't be there. It should be further back, closer towards the pit exit itself. Because getting a wrongful penalty like that it's a killer. It's a killer. Green flag back in the air, back to the action at hand.
Bryan spun him.
Oh, but this time there was no wreck.
This time everybody was able to get out of the way, but the number 8 machine definitely spun the rear tires on the start. That's going to hand the lead off to Alfie Sharon Jr., who I believe, if not our pole sitter, was one of the front row starters. And Caleb Sisk follows him right into second place. And we've seen this movie before between Sisk and Sharon.
It's a quote Marty McFly from Back to the Future. Hey, I've seen this one. It's a classic.
Indeed.
Yes, I just
Indeed, we got a spinner.
Turn 4. Trouble up turn 2. Oh, that's a hard hit.
That was Matt Sizzler there. It has not paid to have the fastest lap today. Every time we get somebody with the fastest lap, it seems like they have trouble. And Matt Sizzler is the latest victim of the purple number, and that car is toast.
He just got run over from behind by the number 3.
Yeah, let's see what happened here to the 93 machine. Is he scrabbling?
He just got help.
Well, let's see. He's racing really hard here with the 33. And we're going to have some contact We're out of shape. We're on the apron. Apron bad. I mean, that's awful tough if you're the 3, because you've got the guy out of shape and you don't really have anywhere to go there, Justin.
Yeah, and I'm also trying to figure out where Joseph Bennett, came from. Because all I saw out of the corner of my eye when that wreck happened, he was there was a stack up in front, they were checking up, and he just had it over to go.
And the bad news for Matt Sisler is he has used his fast repair already, so that's likely going to be day done or a very lengthy repair with 28 laps to go for a very, very fast 93 machine. Tough break for Matt Sisler. Also in the pits, Dylan Bryant. He is affecting additional repair, I would assume.
We could also add Josh Moore to the list of DNFs, as the car was... a correction. Might have been having connection issues as well. Unfortunately, there goes my pick.
Yeah, Josh Moore, the 18, has pulled it in and shut it down for the day. So he is out of the race. Crystal Villano, I also show as having disconnected. So a shame. Shame to end a wonderful drive for the 07 that way.
And we're wrecking under caution? The 11. Or no. It was a 22.
Well,
just out of nowhere in turn 3 and 4. Is that...
No, that's the 11.
No, it was a 22 ahead of him.
Oh,
the 22 ahead of the 11. It just kicked out on him, and he lost it.
Yeah, let's see if we can't gin that up for us, for our fans at home. So we're under caution. We're looking at the 22. The 11 spins him up, gets sideways. You know what they're doing, Justin? They're trying to clean up the tires, and they're spinning them out, trying to clean up the tires under yellow.
I don't know if I call that cleaning up the tires the right way.
Well, what you want to do is, you want to kind of spin the rears up a little bit. Knock the dirt off of them for one, the rubber and all that builds up on hot, sticky tires whenever you're under caution. But you also want to get some heat in them, and the way you do that in iRacing, the same way you do it in real life, you just kind of feed her a little bit of accelerator and dump the clutch and spin the rears, but it'll also spin you out. You want to be really careful. I threw away a top split race at Texas on a broadcast a couple of years ago doing that. I was going down the front straight trying to warm up the tires, dropped the clutch and turned right straight into Pablo Diaz-Francis, who was not very happy with me because we were both out of the race. The same thing also befell Roberto Guerrero to start the 1992 ICE 500 at Indianapolis. I don't know where you were for that one, Mr. Petchauer, but I was in Grandstand A, and I was cold.
I was not an IndyCar fan at that time, so yeah.
I was 10 years old. We were saved. We come back to green. We were saved by my great aunt, who had was a quilter, and so we had a supply of blankets. Otherwise, we would have frozen as we come back to the Geico Recard Zone. Sharon, your leader, second. Away we go, and thankfully, everybody gets through that restart. Nobody spun him up that time.
Nobody spun him up, thankfully. But
we're not done. Hello to the lead for the 006. Caleb Siss comes to the lead. He's gonna move Chris Gones out of the way. Not Gones. Take that back. He moved Sharon out of the way. So Siss the lead. Gones and Herod follow through to second and third. Sharon goes back to fourth momentarily. He'll climb back to the high side, go around Skylar Herod back for third. There might be a little bit of red mist behind the helmet of the driver, and that's 78.
Yeah, I think I see something as they come by here in the front straightaway. I think there's like a mist or something. I think it is what you were saying. I think it was red mist.
I think there might be. I think there might be smoke coming out of his ears too, because he just set the fastest lap. So that's going to be a purple lap for Alfie Sharon Jr.
But to continue on, I was only 3 years old in 1992 when one of the greatest finishes in Indy 500 history happened.
It was one of the most, and look, I love the Indianapolis 500 as we see the 78 for the second time set the fastest lap of the race, and I wonder, yes, he is. We're gonna see the bumpers come out now with 22 to go.
We sent him. They both saved it. I don't know how they did, but they both saved it.
I don't know either, and now the 78 is going to kiss the fence, and that's going to put him back to fifth. Move Chris Gones in the 41 up to second. Skylar Harrod will take fourth. Zeth Hawley from a lap down is back to fifth, and the 78 continues to lose spots as he fights back on the outside of. He's going to fight back on the outside of Zeth Hawley.
Reckon in front, the leader gets turned into the wall, and oh man, that was too close.
They all got through that some way or another, but there was a bullseye on the back of the 006 there for at least 3 or 4 laps. Dylan Bryant has now taken the lead. Chris Gones is second, and it's about a half a second now from Dylan Bryant back to Chris Gones. Zeth Hawley, it wasn't too long ago that 24 car was a lap down, and he is third.
Yeah.
Skylar Harrod and Alfie Sharon Jr. Battling fourth and fifth, and they're squeezing into the wall over there. Careful, boys, careful.
I swear, I went to a stock car race on iRacing,
now that
and a hockey game is broken out.
Now that was one where Mike Fahey followed Alfie Sharon Jr. into the fence. Did you see that?
I saw it.
One guy hits it, and we've all done it, right? You get so focused on the car in front of you that
the old saying goes, "Monkey seen, monkey do."
Yeah, in that case,
I've been guilty of that a number of times, even in IndyCar. It's like I got it. It's not going to hurt, bang, and your race is over. But in the case of this, you can get away with it. Just don't overdo it to where it's a literal tank slapper.
Absolutely. So we've got 16 laps to go at the stripe. Dylan Bryant's going to lead it from Chris Gones. Zeth Hawley is third. Sharon, after all of that, went from second to a bumper from the lead back to about sixth. He's now fourth. Mike Fahey, that's another car that's been up and down all day. He is fifth. Harrod and Roberts battling for sixth in the background. We'll come back and focus on them. Joe DeVita is eighth, and Jesse Redding ninth. Those are the cars on the lead lap as we get down to 15 to go and show and tell time. To round out my thoughts on the 92 500, Justin, that was the worst race I've ever been to until it was the best race I'd ever been to, because it was not a good one. If you go back and watch it on TV, Michael Andretti,
this case on YouTube,
yeah, or YouTube or whatever have you, your replay service of choice. Michael Andretti ran away and hid and had the thing won until the fuel pump on his experimental Cosworth broke. Race fans will remember that was the first year of the Cosworth XB, which was the first of the, they called them the shoebox engines, much lower center of gravity, much faster. And Michael ran away and hid until the motor broke, reminiscent of his dad 5 years earlier. That's what opened the door for the finish sideways for the 33 there. But that's what opened up the door to have Al Jr. In the Galmer and Scott Goodyear and a 1-year-old Lola fight to the finish in that classic race. But people always forget Michael Andretti had that baby. He had that baby going away.
It in the bag.
Yeah.
He had it in the bag.
I think he led 150 some odd laps in that one. I mean, it was heartbreaking for poor Michael, especially having had the race he had the year before. We had the famous duel with Mears.
Oh shit!
We got yellow. Let's see.
This changes everything.
I think we're going to get a brand new race here with under 10 to go, and I'm trying to find the yellow. Justin, you got a line on that at all?
Trying to find it.
I see the 57 down low. Kind of wonder if maybe he was involved somehow. Russell Endicott. He's been laps down, but he was...
Oh, it's on a front stretch.
Yeah, let's see what...
Russell Endicott.
Yeah,
Endicott.
Endicott. He's got the 00 behind him. And thank you very much. Down to the inside retaining wall. Back end into it for Mr. Endicott. And that's a tough break. He's been soldiering on. He was damaged fairly early in this one, fairly severely. And took tens of dozen or took several dozen laps to fix. I believe Russell Endicott 48 laps down. So, just trying to soldier on and finish. There is one more spot he can gain. He is 2 laps behind Thomas Welch. Barish is still out there circulating, and he is 13 laps ahead of Russell Endicott. So one more spot to gain if he can keep it out there for 3 more laps. Why not? This is a championship after all, and every point you can get, every point that you can acquire is helpful toward the year-end standings. And a lot of people don't realize, when you watch these races, especially here, NTRL or otherwise, most of these pay the prize money only for championship standings. Most races do not pay individually. It's mostly based on the end of season standings, and so that extra point or two might be worth a little bit of money for Russell come the end of the year.
And that points paying money is kind of what you would need in order to get whatever you want on iRacing, or maybe even take the significant other out, and what have you.
I look at anything that I get in the sim as far as prize money as a bonus. We've got Caleb Sisk and some other cars now coming into pit lane, just circling among fast repairs left, just to kind of reset the scene for you. Dylan Bryant, Chris Goins, Alfie Sharon, and Zeth Hawley and Mike Fahey are your front 5. Of that front 5, only Goins has used his free pass. And we'll get Chris up on the screen here. Very up and down day for him, but he's used his fast repair. He is, I believe, of the lead lap cars, the only other lead lap cars that have used them are David, Redding, and Biddy. So Roberts, Herod, Fahey, Hawley, Sharon, and Bryant all have their fast repairs intact. And if it gets down to a green-white checker situation where you've got to stack up in a 1-lap shootout or 2-lap shootout, that could be fairly big. The other thing, Justin, that I'd like to note for our viewers, the track temp down to 105, and so we've had the weather bug all night. That's to keep everybody kind of apprised. Look at the track temp as grip. The higher that number, the less grip. The lower the number, more grip. And this concrete surface is very sensitive to temperature. As I said earlier, it's probably the most sensitive track, not a rectangle halfway between St. Louis and Columbus.
Indeed, on that one. With concrete, it's a different animal. If you've done enough laps, you know how to get around on a concrete surface. Doesn't matter if it's here at Dover, Bristol, heck, even can I throw in Nashville Super Speedway?
That is concrete too, and we see the same things at all of those different speedways. If you get off of that darkened surface where the rubber is, it takes concrete a long time to accept rubber. The neat thing about it is that it doesn't really wash away with a rainstorm, but it takes a long time for it to accept rubber. And if you get out of that, it's like driving on ice. But we're going to follow the restart here. The pace car has come off the speedway, and we're going to go back to green with 8 laps to go here in the NTRL Dover 160.
A little bit of tire spin there on both the inside and outside line as they head off towards turn number 1 with Dylan Bryant trying to pull away, but not going to work. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. He's going to have Alfie Sharon to the bottom side in the 78. He is going to pull to the inside of Bryant. Don't hit the...
he hit the wall. Dylan hit the wall.
I was going to say, don't hit the wall, and sure enough, he squared up. He
somebody gets turned behind. They save it. I've heard of moving a driver out of the way, but that was a little too much.
7 laps to go here. 6 going to be 6 at the line. Alfie Sharon Jr., Chris Goins, Dylan Bryant, your front 3. Zeth Hawley 4th. Mike Fahey 5th. Make that Sean Roberts 5th. He completes the pass on Fahey. The lead 2 have broken away. The battle here is the Hornet's Nest between about 4th and 10th.
I wouldn't call that a Hornet's Nest. That's more like a giant hornet nest. If you understand lingo these days, they call them the unaliving hornet.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to get anywhere near that. They were going 2 and 3 wide over there, and positions. So for those of you at home, we have a timing screen that helps us do this. And every time a position changes, the name lights up in green. It lights up in red. Mine right now looks like a Christmas tree. The battle is right around that 3rd spot, and we're going to watch it. The front 2.
They're still 3 wide.
There's still 3 wide going in there. That doesn't work.
It worked for that instance.
Well, they got 2 wide by the time they got to the exit. So 4 to go. Chris Goins leads it. Sharon 2nd. They are a couple of tenths apart pretty consistently. We'll cut back to them if it becomes a dispute. But this is the battle, and we've got Bryant
wrecking on the front, and it's another course blocker.
And that's what it does, and you definitely do not want to get down to the inside to try to clear an accident here. We'll get back and see. That's the 21 there.
32 and 51 had nowhere to go.
Well, so they did the thing.
They did the thing.
They did the thing. They came off of turn 4, 3 wide, 19. That's Chris Fahey, and he clobbers the outside wall, and that starts it. And I think 3 or 4 others came through and finished it. We've got one car blowing up in front of the pace car. That is the 21. That is going to be Jesse Redding. He's just trying to make it back to pit lane, I think. Jesse does not have his fast repair, so that's going to more or less end his day.
Now, for this one, we will be going to green, white, checkered. And we're going to get 3 attempts at this. If they do not make it around the first time, after they take the green flag to get the white flag, rack them up, do it over again. If they wash, rinse, repeat, then there's going to be a 3rd and final attempt. If they wash, rinse, repeat on causing chaos again, before we get to the white flag on the 3rd and final attempt, then the race will be over.
Very true. And this is one of those, too, where, you always got to keep in mind, once you get to the white, the next flag ends the race. And so if you're Chris Goins seeing passing under Barney, or in our case, Mr. Aaron Likens, passing under that white flag is about the best thing you can see. And shout out to Aaron. I may get a chance to visit with him. We're going to Milwaukee in a couple of weeks, and so I may get a chance to see Aaron and shake his hand. Shout out to him if he's out there watching and listening. Mr. Likens, you do a heck of a job.
Not only is he the flagman for the NTT IndyCar Series, he is also the flagman for the Supercarts USA karting organization, and pretty soon he will be back here in Vegas as the flagman, as is tradition, for the SCUSA Superdats the week before the return of the 2nd annual Vegas Grand Prix for Formula One.
Do you go to that, Justin? Have you been to that?
The SCUSA Superdats?
No, the Grand Prix, the Formula One race.
No. See,
and that's the thing I always liked about it being an Indy. We've got kind of a lull here. I loved it being an Indy.
Go ahead.
I loved it being an Indy because I looked at. I have not been to Las Vegas, and we looked at going to that, and one look at the prices dictated that we stayed at home. But that was the great thing about it being an Indy. There's so many seats, and that place is so big that it could be affordable to the average.
There are ways. There is technically a way to go to it for free.
Well, don't.
Basically all you got to do is just walk around the strip, and you're good to go.
Right. No, I get you there. But
you can only walk in designated areas, and there are certain areas where you actually do get up close to where you can see the cars.
Gotcha. Well, I haven't looked into it that deeply, and maybe someday I will. But what I want to do first is call this green white checker. We got 3 laps to go. When the lights go out on the pace car, we'll get 2 to go. Excuse me. When they come to the green, we'll get 2 to go. When they come back around, we'll get 1 to go, and hopefully we'll see the bug at the top turn to white. And once it goes white, the next flag will end the race. Lights are still on the pace car. So the green white checker
should be getting the 1 to go this time.
Got to once again thank everybody, all of the sponsors here for the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessory Series. Green white checker coming around. We got to thank Track Bar Media, Beadle's Custom Car Carriers, Davidson Builders, and Prospec Custom Accessories. All their support for the NTRL series. I'm Mark Murphy for P1 Broadcasting, joined by my good friend, fellow competitor, Justin Petchauer. The lights are off on the pace car. It's headed down the backstretch. We are about a minute away from a 2-lap shootout to decide the Dover 160 here in the NTRL.
And hopefully they make it to where we only have to utilize 1 green white checkered.
That's always the thing, right? Is cautions breed cautions. Cautions when the money is up get bred a lot faster, and so we'll see what goes here. You've got the fastest lap on the front row here in Alfie Sharon. You've got a really fast car in Chris Goins. Hawley's been up there all day, as has Sean Roberts.
Green.
And here we go. And hopefully nobody spins their tires. They made it. They didn't spin their tires. But now it's going to be... Ooh. I thought somebody was going to hit the pit exit cone there. But here we go. It's going to be a heck of a battle now. We got... I believe that is Zach... That's Sean Roberts. Sean Roberts on the inside of Hefty.
We've got the white.
Clear.
We've got the white. We've got the white. 1 lap to go.
He cleared Hawley, and now is he going to try and get around Sharon? I don't know if he can.
Can he get close enough to lay the bumper to him? I don't think so. Chris Goins is going to come off at turn number 4, followed by Alfie Sharon Jr. and Sean Roberts.
Yep,
the winner
turn
today.
Number 4. Chris Goins survives the chaos.
What a nice win for Chris Goins. So he'll be your winner. Alfie Sharon Jr. second, Sean Roberts third. That's your podium. Zeth Hawley, Joe DeVede round out your top 5. Skylar Herod. We called that name a few times today. He is going to finish the last car on the lead lap. How about that?
Not bad.
Not bad. Justin Lawson 7th, Scott Miller 8th, Andy Sizemore 9th, and Benjamin McKinnon 2 laps down. We'll round out your top 10.
And to make a little bit of a note, Sean Roberts started 31st and he's finished 3rd. A heck of a charge through the field.
That is a heck of a charge through the field, and we'll watch Chris Goins burn it down here. Reckon what gives up first in these cars? Is it the motor or the rear tires, Justin?
It's always going to be the motor.
See, that's always the challenge. You know, when you're doing a good burnout, can you shred the rears before the motor blows up? Trey Shadid and I
One day, well, there it goes.
No, he's not quite done yet.
I thought that was it.
No, he's going to back it up, and I think he's going to pose for the picture here. There they go. The podium at the start-finish line.
Eh.
And so
there goes somebody's motor.
There goes the motor. And so for the NTRL Prospec Xfinity Series Dover 160, 12 cautions for 48 laps. Chris Goins wins it. He's up 6 spots. He leads 9 laps, but most importantly, he'll lead the final one. Alfie Sharon Jr. second, 41 laps led. He did have the fastest lap, so a little bit of consolation for Alfie in P2. Sean Roberts will round out your podium. He started 28th today, Justin. 28th for Sean Roberts. So what a fine run up through there. He also led 10 laps. Seth Hawley is 4th. Joe DeVita is 5th. And Skylar Harrod rounds out the top 5 or the top 6, and he is the last car on the lead lap. 7th, Justin Lawson. 8th, Scott Milner. 9th, Andy Sizemore. And 10th, 2 laps down, is going to be Benjamin McKinnon.
I see we got our podium finishers here. So what do you say? Let's go third to first for this instance. To kick it off on the post-race interviews here for NTRL on P1. John Roberts, this is just a pet shower, joined by Mark Murphy in the booth. Sean, what a charge up to the field, 31st to a 3rd. What was your reaction to the chaos that was going on in the race?
Oh, it was intense early on, starting in the back and just running whatever strategy I thought might work and trying to avoid all the wrecks ahead of me. And then once I got near the front and then, dealing with anything happening behind, having the freshest tires, trying to outrun Chris and Alfie at the end, but I didn't quite have enough laps to get past those two guys.
Yeah. So, Sean, Mark Murphy here in the booth. Great run.
Sure.
What a heck of a drive from the back to the front. What was the most challenging part of the race to you? Because I think you saw it all.
Definitely just trying to keep the car clean. Just with all the wrecks going on, I do not have a good track record here. I think this is the first race I've actually finished on the league lap. So, I'll take it. It's a good points night to try to recover from the early start of the season. So, we'll take it to next week.
Very good. Well, congratulations. You did keep your car clean indeed. You were one of very few that did not use your fast repair. You got any sponsors, friends, family, shout-outs that you'd like to give before we let you go celebrate your fine podium?
Well, the big thing is for thanks to you guys for coming on to broadcast on short notice. Big thanks to DW and the guys at NCG. They put on a great league. This is my second season Xfinity, 3rd or 4th league with them. Great quality group of guys. Good field. I'm having a lot of fun running with these guys.
Absolutely. Well, thanks a lot, Sean. Go celebrate. You've definitely earned it up. 28 spots. Sean Roberts finishes 3rd here today at Dover.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Absolutely. You do the same. Let's go ahead and bring up.
Let's bring up our second place finisher, Alfie Sharon Jr. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah, you are. Yep.
All right. So with everything that was going on, we saw you make some moves, play a different pit strategy. What was your reaction as far as with the wrecks that were happening, the lines getting amphibious, as I would call it? Were you thinking, I got to do something to try and get up towards the front, or I might as well just get comfortable and finish where I'm at?
I had my teammate Chris Goins right there with me the entire race, and we kept talking the entire race of what we should do. As you've seen, we had all them early cautions, and we're the type of team that tries to do like strategies throughout the race, but we knew coming into Dover with how hot it was, how fast the tires burn off, we were just going to wing it, and we pretty much did that for this entire race. It was an awesome battle up there with everybody. Caleb Sisk. It says Joshua Sisk in the race. But it was an awesome battle with him. Dylan. It's a lot of good guys here, and we luckily over at Track Bar we have a lot of good teammates that we put in a lot of time. I wasn't very confident coming into Dover, but we put a lot of time in practicing and stuff, and luckily it paid off. It sucks to see Dylan Bryan and Caleb Sisk get DQ'd, but I know they had their own issue on the track. But I mean, it's fun racing with all these guys in here. It shows how good we all are and how fun and clean we can race with one another.
Yeah, so Mark Murphy here. Congratulations, Alfie, on your second place finish. You had the fastest lap, so that might come as some consolation. Talk about that battle with Sisk a little bit, because that looked like it got a little bit rowdy there for a few laps.
Yeah, me and Sisk have been racing each other now for, I think it's 3 seasons. Our first season, we were pretty much rivals through the entire thing. Every time we got a chance to wreck one another, we kind of did it. But I mean, we talked about it, and as you've seen in this, he dive bombed me going into the corner and moved me up a little bit. So, you know, I mean, it's only fair to give it back. I mean, I got him a little loose, but he controlled it. And I mean, unfortunately, that's the difference between some people. Luckily, I know Sisk is a very good driver, and we can do that kind of stuff, give each other a bump and stuff, and not wreck each other, just get them loose and move them up the track. But I mean, I said it last week with us finishing 1-2. He is a very tough competitor. And I mean, I look forward to racing with him every week. I hope he doesn't get kicked out for the actions that were on track. But I mean, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. We'll all just have to wait till a little after midnight when Derek gets done with the penalties and see what the outcome is.
Absolutely. Well, Alfie, thank you so much for joining us in the booth. Definitely congratulations on your second place finish. You got any friends, family, sponsors, teammates you'd like to shout out here on the air?
Yeah, I just got to thank all my teammates over at Track Bar Motorsports. Chris Goins for obviously winning the race. Did a heck of a job with the tires and saving them underneath them. My teammate Jesse Redding, I know he had a couple of problems there in the ending stage of this. And actually, my fiance races with us, Crystal. She did good. She was running up in the top 10 for a while, and luckily was trying to survive. But you know, it's the luck of the draw here at the Monster Mile. Anything can happen. And then I just got to thank all of our sponsors, Track Bar Media, HBRTV1.com, and I got to thank you guys for broadcasting and coming over here and hopping on as AAA left. Got to thank Derek and all the admins for putting on such a fun spot for us to race.
Absolutely. Well, Alfie, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulate Crystal. We at one point picked her to win the race, so she definitely had an awesome run. So congratulate her for us, and get out of here. Go celebrate the second place, and keep going fast and having fun, man.
Will do. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
You're more than welcome. And with that, Justin is going to go grab the man of the hour. That would be Chris Goins, your winner here tonight in the Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Championship from the NTRL. Chris Goins, Mark Murphy up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Mark, how you doing?
You know, not too bad, Chris. That race had a little bit of everything for you. It appeared to me, at least, that there were 2 keys to this. One was keeping your car clean, and the other was picking out the right tire strategy. Now, you were the only one of the podium that did use your fast repair, so obviously a little bit of a fracas for you. But talk to me about tires, man, because there were definitely going to be some double stints out there. So how did you guys work out how to be fastest at the end?
Yeah, you know, going in, we knew that with the tire sets, we were going to have to, kind of manage those pretty well, which Dover is not the easiest place to do that. So, I took it really easy there in that first opening stint. I think I was running probably 6th or 7th or so, basically the whole thing, just kind of riding around. And cautions kind of fell, and we were able to stretch those a little bit longer. And then once we knew once we hit about the 85 lap mark, that that's when we took our first set. So we knew we could take those and just run those like crazy and change on the next stop and utilize them. So that was the goal, was to see how far we could make it, hopefully get to around that 85. And luckily, with some help from some cautions and things like that, we were able to make it work.
Absolutely. Justin, you got anything for the winner?
I got nothing. I'm just blown away at all the chaos that was happening tonight. Heck of a win, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was definitely hectic. This isn't typical for this league, but sometimes you got to get a little excitement. Dover usually brings that out in people. there was a couple times where I was looking at the bottom of cars, looking at the driver's side of cars, and just trying to avoid them as much as I could. And luckily, we just we survived, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Well, survive you did, Chris, and you brought home the trophy. You captured the flag. Got any friends, family, sponsors, teammates you'd like to give a shout out here too on the air before we let you go?
Yeah, absolutely. Want to shout out Popple. If anybody's looking for some digital business cards, definitely take a look at Popple. They're class act in the business. So Castle Products, Eric Dotson, State Farm Agency, Track Bar Media, that S4 guy on Twitch, our buddy Zach over there. Let's see, the guys over at NTRL. I mean, they always do put on a great league. Like I said, the racing here is a little chaotic, some tempers flaring, and that's just Dover. And I mean, it's happened in the past, but I appreciate you guys coming on board to broadcast these things. We enjoy going back and kind of taking a look at everything after the fact. It's a little different when you see it from outside the car. So I appreciate you guys doing that for us.
It absolutely was my pleasure. And I know Justin shares the same sentiment. But Chris, go celebrate your win and have a great rest of your night. Keep going fast and having fun, man.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir. All right, so that's your winner, Chris Goins. Justin, we saw a race that had a little bit of everything. We had some longer runs. We had some cautions, breeding cautions. We definitely had some contact here tonight, but overall, I had a lot of fun watching this one. I especially like these races where you got a little bit less fuel and not enough tires, and you really got to kind of think your way through it, and that's what we saw tonight.
Indeed, when leagues set rules like this, at times it does get a little chaotic, like what we saw tonight. But majority of the time, the cream will rise to the top, and you can get some of the best racing around. And it's like what Chris said. This is Dover. Doesn't matter if it's in a stock car, an Indy car, whatever car. Chaos will always reign supreme here. There's a reason why they call it the Monster Mile, because it could be a wreck fest. There has to be a quota that gets met with the quote-unquote track mascot, Miles the Monster. And I think Miles got his fill for tonight. But other than that, I am looking forward to the next round here in NTRL. What next week is going to hold, nobody knows, because that's with with B-class car racing, as we call it here on iRacing, but in real life, it's the Xfinity Series. So with me, I just say it's the Xfinity Series, and you can get some of the most amazing racing with the Xfinity Series car. And that's what I'm looking forward to here. I cannot wait to see where the rest of the season goes. We're in for a heck of a show.
We most certainly are. And speaking a heck of a shows, we've got those coming up every Monday night for our fans here on P1. Next week we'll be at Texas. That'll be 125 laps, followed by September the 2nd at Rockingham, and then Kansas on September the 9th, Richmond September the 16th, Chicagoland the 23rd, and to close out 5 races in September, we're going to go to Michigan to end the regular season for the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories season. The schedule and all the links to Discords and so forth are in the description of the video below. We also would be remiss if we didn't thank Track Bar Media, Beadle's Custom Car Carriers, Davidson Builders LLC, and our title sponsor, Prospec Custom Accessories. Go check them out. Links are also in the description. For me, Mark Murphy, I want to thank everybody who watched this race. And there were several of you that watched. There were at one point over 40 concurrent viewers on this video. This is the first race that I've ever produced. And so I want to thank everybody for bearing with me. I know that Trading Paints had some issues, and we'll get those worked out. We'll get those worked out for next week. But I truly hope that everybody enjoyed the show, because it is most assuredly fun for me to do this. And it is, I know, fun for Justin to do this. It's definitely always awesome to come watch a good race, and hang out with your friends. And that's what we're doing here at P1. And so, for Justin Petschauer, Mark Murphy, keep going fast, having fun, and we will see you next week.